What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, OTB Nation? Welcome into episode number 347 of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course, viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. It's KB and Deej coming at you. And Deej, I'm another year older.
Yes, sir. We're both a year older now. You still stay at 6 years older than me, big dog. It ain't going nowhere.
Never. And I posted this on all my social media accounts because it's the truth. Society has tried to make us fear our birthday and make us like dread our birthdays and it not be a special day. All you see all the time, not saying us, but just in general, you see, oh, I'm dreading my birthday. I can't believe I'm getting old. No, you're supposed to enjoy your birthday, make it a celebration about you. Enjoy that shit. You only get a finite number of them. Enjoy it. And that's what I did this year.
Oh, yeah, bro. You deserve that. I don't shit. I could do nothing to enjoy my birthday. All I got to do is
I chilled. I kicked it with the fam.
I'm taking breaths.
Sarah and Matt got me a really cool birthday gift that I was not expecting. Sarah is one of the best gift givers. Let me put that out there. My sister. She's one of the best gift givers in the terms of she gets you something that you never knew you really wanted and it's unexpected. And then when you open it, it's like, oh shit, this is super cool. So the small portion of the gift, she got me a classic OG Batman comic book, which is awesome. But then the big gift, she got me a record player.
Okay.
Along with Green Day's 1994 hit album Dookie on vinyl and Fleetwood Mac on vinyl.
Okay.
I was like, this is something I would have never even remotely thought about for myself. But now that I have it, it's one of the coolest gifts. And it's USB and wireless, so you don't necessarily need to have a vinyl playing and you can use it as a speaker.
Mm-hmm.
It's the coolest shit ever. I can't wait to plug it in down in the studio and just have it down here spinning.
Not just spinning.
Shout out to Sarah and Matt for the awesome gift. 31. We're recording this on my favorite holiday, Halloween. And if you're not watching on YouTube, I highly recommend it because you should keep the door open 3 inches. Topper shirt from Stranger Things 3. And I'm also wearing one of the scariest things, a PLL team that no longer exists.
Screaming.
I see what you did there. We got a fun one for you. We got 2 more interviews from Wings Media Day. And guess what, guys? We're going to have more interviews coming because I will be at training camp on Saturday, sitting down with a whole bunch of more players and personnel from the Philadelphia Wings. More than likely, Coach Ian Rubel as well. Very excited for that. I believe our guy Adam Levy is going to be there too. So I might try to get Adam on the pod for a little bit and plot and scheme with him a little bit for this NLL season. But we got more Wings interviews coming to you on this episode. We have our last unreleased. We've been releasing these in tandem. If you haven't been paying attention or you're not subscribed to Underground Sports Philadelphia, I highly recommend subscribing there as well because it's myself. And returning, you want to talk about back from the dead. Ladies and gentlemen, Harrison Kremitz is back in the Underground. Back on the main pod with yours truly. It's going to be Wednesdays with Harry the K. A blast from the past. When I texted Deej that Harrison was back, he was like, "Whoa, that's a deep cut."
Like, bro,
that's year one of Deej.
like you told me somebody's coming back, and I'm like, oh, okay, Dom's done doing whatever he had going on, and you're like, nah, and I'm like,
I said deeper lore.
I'm like, and you were like Harrison. I was like, whoa. What up, bro?
He said, brother, what?
We ain't seen you since I came round.
Facts.
I thought I scared him away.
Harrison hasn't been on a pod up until this most recent main episode of Underground Sports Philadelphia that dropped today since we've been on YouTube.
Wow.
Harrison was never on a YouTube episode of a pod.
Wow.
Which is like insane to think that we've been doing YouTube for that long, which has been a little over 2 years now, almost 3. But Harrison's back. He wishes everyone a hello. He'll be popping up on shows as his schedule permits. But very excited to have him back. But on this episode, Anthony Malcom on OTB. And if you missed it on Underground Sports Philadelphia, because we've been cross-posting these so that our Philly fans get the interviews as well as you guys, we will have our interview with the one and only Blaze Riorden, friend of the show. First time in person with Blaze, which is very fun. It's a great sit-down with Blaze. He's amazing, has always been an OG to us, and shout out to him for being the best. So yeah, it'll be Anthony Malcom, Blaze Riorden on this episode. And then next week's episode, I might just thrust all 3 into the fold that have not been on here, which will be Connor Sellers, Nick Damude, Mitch Jones will be next week's episode. So you'll get everything on this show as well. And then we'll have more interviews to roll out over the coming weeks as well from training camp. But before we get into all of that, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at OTB LaxPod. That's across the board on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch is Underground Sports Philadelphia. And then, of course, the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@OTB LaxPod. Follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow Chase at the PLL Pipeline. Follow Hoots at Hoot Sports Media. And you can follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the pod. We did get a comment on Spotify of last week's episode saying the audio on the Brennan O'Neill interview sounded, this is a direct quote, sounds like shit. I went back and listened. It sounds totally fine. Brennan, number one, is just a soft speaker. So we were using headset microphones, so it might just sound low. I went back and listened on the raw audio on what is on Spotify, YouTube. It sounds perfectly okay. Maybe your volume was just down. I don't know. But Brennan's just a soft tone speaker, and he sounded perfectly fine to me. But check it out now if you missed it. And then it'll also be on Underground Sports Philadelphia on Monday's episode. But subscribe on Apple and Spotify. Leave a 5-star review. Goes a long way for helping the show continue to grow. Helps more people find OTB. Helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia and our entire catalog of podcasts. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show every week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel, and we are doing the original Kanto Pokedex countdown. Shout out to Polskis. Until we get to 1,000 subscribers, we are 134 away. The big goal is to get to 1,000 before the end of the year. Let's make that happen. We're so close. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment in the comment section. Click the bell icon so you know when new videos go live. And leave us a voicemail. Voicemail line is open 24/7, 365 for you to leave a voicemail. Give us your preseason predictions on the PLL, like we said on our card opening stream, which if you missed that, go check it out on YouTube as well. Open a pack of cards and give us your reaction on audio, and we will feature it on the show. Leave us your thoughts, anything lacrosse-wise, on our voicemail line, speakpipe.com/OTB LaxPod, and it's going to get featured on the show. We want to hear from you guys. Anytime something comes to mind, leave it on our voicemail line. We will feature them on the show and react to them each and every week when you leave them. And of course, guys, this show is presented by Shootout For Soldiers. By the time you guys are listening to this, it's going to be November 1st, and you know what that means. Wall Ball for Warfighters is coming. Very excited for this. Shootout has been posting on their socials the past couple days, like stand by, like it's going to be bigger and better than ever. And I have no doubt in my mind that that is going to be the case. Wall Ball for Warfighters is one of the coolest events in the lacrosse community. And this November, join us in making a difference for our nation's veterans through the power of lacrosse. We're excited to once again launch our Wall Ball for Warfighters campaign, where you can sign up and help support those who have served our country. Throughout the month, we invite lacrosse enthusiasts of all levels to participate by logging your wall ball sessions and contributing to a collective effort that gives back to our heroes. Whether you're a seasoned player or just starting out, your participation will help raise crucial funds and awareness for veteran support programs. Get involved, challenge your friends, and make every rep count. Together, we can show our gratitude and make a lasting impact. Ready to rep for a cause? Let's get it started. You can register. Link is in the description, wallballforwarfighters.com, or go to shootoutforsoldiers.com, and in the register tab, click on that bad boy. Deej, we should probably register as a podcast and just have the boys out doing wall ball wherever we can. And the cool part is, if you just want to free participate, there's a free participation option. There's a registration and a t-shirt. So you get a Shootout for Soldiers t-shirt and a $10 merchandise gift card. And then there's the t-shirt and hoodie package as well. All different tiers. We'll probably register as a podcast and then all of us put in a video together, which will be really cool. But you can register as well. Wallballforwarfighters.com, or go to shootoutforsoldiers.com and click on the events tab, and then just hit register under the upcoming events for Wall Ball for Warfighters. And we thank Shootout for Soldiers for being the presenting partner of the Outside the Box podcast. Deej, it's one of those weeks where there's not a heck of a whole lot going on in the lacrosse world. Some training camp rosters have funneled through. An interesting rumor that has become fact has come to the surface, and I'm gearing up. By the time this episode airs, all teams will be at training camp, which will be fun. But I think one of the bigger pieces of news for a player that we felt like was a core member of the Las Vegas Desert Dogs is going full-time PLL, and Charlie Bertrand is not playing in the NLL this season.
Yeah, I saw that. That was very interesting, but maybe there's something we don't know because he's now a second player, at least that we know of for sure, that has chosen the pro field route over playing both or playing just one. And not to say that there aren't others taking the other route, because we have seen others bow out of PLL play to play box year round. So there seems to be some things going on behind the scenes that obviously none of us know about. So there's kind of just something to keep an eye on. But realistically, I'm surprised at this because Charlie Bertrand was pretty successful in the box game the last couple of years, both with Rochester and Las Vegas. He had plenty of spots in both offenses to make a difference. So this one kind of took me by surprise, but it may have something to do with how bad of a season the Redwoods had. And he didn't particularly have a Charlie Bertrand field season. So it may have something to do with that. And he may just be taking time off this year or for a few years and may return to the box game. There's kind of just a lot of unknown surrounding that at the moment.
I also think it's one of those things where Charlie's a good player, and we love Charlie Bertrand. Looking at the pieces that Vegas added through the expansion draft and in free agency and everything, it might have been one of those things where Charlie kind of just saw the writing on the wall and he wasn't going to get the proper playing time that was going to help him improve his game. Because you look at their training camp roster that came out today as we record this on Halloween, they obviously added producer Donnie. Jonathan Donville is on this roster now on the offense. They still have Marshall King, who unfortunately is placed on the PUP list right now, so hopefully he gets back healthy soon. Dylan Kinnear is now on this roster. It's shout out to Sarah Griffin. Summer of Patra is going to be the fall and winter of Patra. Adam Patra is on this roster this season. Casey Jackson is back in Vegas. Jack Hanna. You have Dylan Watson. Kyle Killen is now on this roster. So it's a lot of guys who have pure box experience and a lot of guys that are younger than Charlie that I think they are wanting to see what they have. And I think Charlie might have been like, hey, like if that's kind of the direction they're going in, maybe it benefits me to focus on my field game where I'm more comfortable and just being like really, really good at one thing rather than trying to just be solid at two.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things where most people will be able to understand that, right? We all have been in positions where we're doing multiple different things, we're stretching ourselves across so many different things, making our schedules so busy and kind of splitting our resources amongst all these different things that we're, committed to. When really you take a step back and you look and you're like, okay, all of my resources and skills and things, they're all the same for all these different things I'm doing. So instead of trying to canvas myself and be in all these different spaces, how about I get rid of a few of these spaces and focus solely here? Graphic designers, if you're designing lacrosse, hockey, football, soccer, basketball, eventually you're going to see that you're doing the same stuff over and over, and you could just become really good at one sport and single in on that one sport and develop something better from just tailoring all of your resources and skill into that one avenue. And that's pretty much what Charlie Bertrand is saying is I'm done spreading my physicality, my health and training and all these things amongst two things that are similar yet different, when I can tailor all of that toward one thing and possibly be great at that one thing rather than being really good at these two things that are similar.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, you look at just the way teams are kind of, shaping up and teams are wanting to get younger and teams are wanting to get guys that they feel like are going to mesh together well. And, with the young talent coming into Vegas, and when you have a player like Jonathan Donville, who's a blue chip franchise altering player, that shifts kind of the focus of the way you construct your roster. So I don't blame Charlie at all. He's still going to be really damn good in the PLL. And who knows, maybe we see him down the line in the NLL as well at some point. And speaking of the NLL, Deej, we do have a big announcement from the NLL that came out on my birthday, which was a nice little birthday present from the league. A couple schedule updates for face-off weekend and for later in the season. So Philadelphia at San Diego on face-off weekend, December 1st, Sunday. That's the Sunday game. That was the standalone game. I think it was originally scheduled for 5 p.m. Eastern time. It is now 6 p.m. Eastern time. And the Rochester at Buffalo game on December 28th, right before the New Year's break, is now at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Both of those games are now on ESPN2.
They on what?
They are on ESPN2. Brendan O'Neill, Sunday Night Lacrosse on ESPN2, baby. Let's go.
Tell them talk to me nice.
That's a great matchup to feature in a standalone NLL game, too, where you have the new look wings, brand new head coach, but still the blue chip players and, superstars in the league, from Blaze, Joe Resiteritz, Mitch Jones, a whole bunch of the Panther City guys, and the number one overall pick going up against the Super Seals with Zach Currier, Trevor Baptiste, and the rest of those boys that are still looking to get a championship. That's going to be a great matchup to have. Nice little prime time on a Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN2, and then Buffalo banner raising night on ESPN2 is also great for the league.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. You got to have your banner night. I think that's something that both teams or both leagues need to incorporate into their media contracts moving forward. Your banner night has to be on a mainstream television site. I know that may be a little bit harder for the PLL to put together because you're not doing your banner night opening night every year unless you change the way the schedule has been. Or, eventually it gets to a position where each team is hosting their own and, but that's years down the line and we know that. So it might be a little bit harder for them to work out a thing where, okay, for example, this year Archers win it. They're probably going to be on the back half of the schedule like they have been because of being in Utah and how they construct the schedule. It's probably going to be harder for them to get around to making sure that there is a top slot open for them on a major network to be in, but I'm pretty sure if it's possible, it will be done. But the NLL can easily work that. You know for sure when you're starting your season, when you're going to have that banner night, you can work that in ASAP. Like, hey, this needs to be on a major program, if absolutely possible. What do we have to do? What time do we have to go at? What programs do we have available? And you make it happen. So I'm glad that this is on ESPN2. It's going to get a lot of eyes in front of it, and you're going to have good teams out there playing ball to begin the year.
And I'm just saying too, like a 6 p.m. start on ESPN2 is perfect time slot placement because it's right at the tail end of those 4 o'clock NFL games on a Sunday, and it's before Sunday Night Football. Which, let's see, just to tickle our fancies, what the projected Sunday Night Football game is right now before any sort of flexing goes on December 1st.
I don't know if they start flexing games that early.
Oh, they already started flexing. They flexed the Eagles out of Sunday Night Football this week. Well, I shouldn't say that. They flexed the Jaguars out of Sunday Night Football now Sunday Night Football is Joe Flacco and the Colts and Sam Darnold and the Vikings. So December 1st.
That's kind of good football.
Is Bills 49ers. So it's a nice little precursor to Bills 49ers. Brennan O'Neill against the Super Seals.
I don't even know if we're going to want to watch the 49ers and the Bills play anyway.
That's true.
I don't want to watch them. If I'm being honest, that's not going to be a good
game. I'll watch the Bills. I'll hate watch the 49ers.
But I will love to watch the Seals and the Bandits play. Or Wings and the Seals. Sorry.
It'll be nice for Philly fans. Like, the Eagles game will be winding down. You'll probably miss the start of the Wings game if you're watching the Eagles game. Like, I know all diehard Philadelphia sports fans are, and that's going to be a great game. It's Eagles-Ravens. But then, once it's done, you tune right in to the Philadelphia Wings.
Y'all might be in for it. I'm gonna have my somebody check on K Bizzle tweet locked and loaded. It's sitting in the drafts just in case.
Yeah, don't remind me that Lamar's 23-1 against the NFC in his career.
Man, bro, y'all got that. Then you got to turn around and play the Super Seals. Like, ooh, same day, bruh. That's just as bad as, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Packers play. No, the Packers play the Lions this week. Oh yeah, that's just as bad as this week for me. Michigan has to welcome in, the Oregon Ducks, the number 1 team in the country, by all means, into the big house. And then the very next day, the Packers play the Lions, who are arguably the best team in football right now.
At least I don't have to worry about the Sixers or Flyers playing that day either.
Let me check and see if the Pistons or the Red Wings play, which I wouldn't be surprised that either one of them plays, and is just going to very much ruin my weekend further. Let's see.
I do have a fun comparison of something, because the league's been doing their training camp takeovers.
Red Wings play the Sabres on Saturday. Lovely.
So the NLL's been doing their training camp takeovers, and they just started in Rochester. The way they're hyping up, and I rightfully so, the Rochester Nighthawks are a talented team. We'll get to our team previews in a couple weeks for them. But the way that they're like positioning their offseason moves is reminding me a lot of the way that lacrosse Twitter was talking about the Carolina Chaos and their free agent signings. Because I'm going to read you these names that they are listing as key additions to the Rochester Nighthawks, and tell me if they sound a little familiar to this podcast. Ian Lord, the boy Chad Tutton, the boy Anthony Jokum, and Brandon Robinson. Deej, what do 3 of those 4 players have in common?
Can you say them again?
That would be Ian Lord, Chad Tutton, shout out to the boy, Anthony Jokum, shout out to the boy, and Brandon Robinson.
Oh, they're former Wings.
3 of those 4 are former Philadelphia Wings. 2 of them last season were with the Wings. No disrespect to Ian Lord. He's 40 years old. Like, good on him. Still going out there and battling and grinding. But I talked about it all last season that the Wings needed to move on from Ian Lord. I don't know how you view 40-year-old Ian Lord as a key addition at this point in his career, but maybe I'm wrong and he's got some sort of Mike's secret stuff ready to go and it's Lordy's secret stuff. Chad Tutton, I think, is a great addition for them. I'm genuinely going to miss him on this team. And Joker's a great addition. He's been bouncing around the past couple years via trade and has won a championship, went to another championship last year with Albany. But they only have one key subtraction, and that's Thomas Whitty. But it does feel like Rochester's getting a lot of love from the league right now.
Yeah, he has been. And I mean, to me, it's rightfully deserved. He had a few good years in Philadelphia, and now he's kind of getting a chance to spread those wings, all pun intended there, to get out and make a name for himself somewhere else. And a lot of teams have shown some respect for him, and a lot of kind of wanted to get at him. And I think he's going to have a successful career moving on throughout this league because he's going to be a valuable piece regardless of where he ends up.
Yeah, I think Rochester as a whole is getting a lot of hype. Obviously, it seems like it's their first stop. I feel like the league's going to be at training camp on Saturday with the Wings too, and that'll be their next installment there. But I don't know. It's going to be an interesting year for Rochester. I'm excited to watch them play. They have obviously some key additions there. They have a lot of pieces that are still back, including one of the best players in the league, Connor Fields, perennial MVP candidate in the NLL. So going to be fun to watch them play. And here are some of Rochester's, since the league is spotlighting, we'll spotlight it too. This was also kind of interesting to me that they viewed these as key matchups for the regular season. So their home opener is November 30th against Las Vegas. So you get Las Vegas versus Las Vegas. Then you have the interstate showdown between Buffalo and Rochester and the same owners team matchup. And then this is fascinating to me. And I know it's a new Rochester Nighthawks and everything, but this year is the first year Rochester's going to Vancouver in franchise history.
That's interesting.
Which is like, it feels like that should have happened already, but it has not happened. It's their inaugural trip to Vancouver.
Nice. They're going to love it, right?
So that'll be fun. December 13th. And then we have a quarterfinals rematch on April 19th between Rochester and the Toronto Rock.
Lovely. I'm really excited, though. I think they're going to have a good season. Connor Fields has been an absolute nutcase the last couple of years for them, and he's really stepped into that role as kind of being the man there. So I'm really excited to see what they have moving forward. It's been kind of up and down for them the last couple of years, but they have made some solid moves, and their schedule so far seems favorable to them in certain aspects.
Yeah, 100%. Did you also see this NLLPA article
About
They,
the voting and
they
stuff?
yeah, they asked NLL players, if your team is down by 1 goal with 1 possession left, of all NLL athletes, who would you count on to force overtime? And here's what the poll had to say. 32% said the boy, Josh Byrne. 17% said Jeff Teat. 5% said take him to church and went with Robert Church. 5% said the man who's really, really, really good at lacrosse, Lyle Thompson. 4% said Eli McLaughlin. And 3% said Connor Fields.
I mean, I would trust any one of them to score for me.
If you had to add anyone else to this list that feels like they have that clutch gene in the NLL, who would you pick?
I mean, I can't not put Dane or Jesse.
I feel like there's like 3 big names that I would also add to this list that I'm surprised didn't get in the 5% range. And maybe they did, we just haven't seen. Let me check the NLLPA.
I mean, Shribes.
I was gonna say Tom Schreiber.
Shribes is up there. Either Dane or Jesse.
I was gonna say Mitch Jones because we've seen him do it time and time again, both with Vancouver and with the Wings.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody else out there.
I'm surprised Randy Stotts didn't get some nod there. He always seems to be scoring clutch goals.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem to be the guy they give the ball to at the end of the game.
Or actually, good point, Cody Jamieson.
I could see that.
Jammer always feels like to be the one that we're always looking for when Halifax is in a close game.
I could see Jammer.
Dane Doby.
Yeah, I said that's what I meant by Jesse or Dane.
Oh, I thought you meant Dane Smith.
I realized, yeah, now that you say that, I realize there's more than one Dane that definitely could be in this conversation.
Yeah.
I just figured by saying Jesse, you realize I was giving my homer pick with the Roughnecks.
I was gonna say Saskatchewan Rush Mark Matthews. But now that he's on Toronto, I don't know that you'd want to not give Tom Schreiber the ball in that situation.
But like my thing is like, are we trusting this person to score? Or are we trusting this person to create?
That's what the question was. It was,
you know what I'm saying? Because
what
just what the question.
If your team is down by 1 goal with 1 possession left of all the athletes, who would you count on to force overtime?
It just says force overtime,
which I think they're implying is the guy who scores.
But forcing overtime doesn't mean you have to score.
By looking at,
you could just create the opportunity, and if that's the case, there's only 2 people I want on this list.
I'm reading it from who is on the list, though, that they're implying that it is they're scoring the goal.
I understand, but
so that's how I'm approaching it.
But
you're overthinking, Deej.
No, I'm not overthinking. The question is open-ended enough for me to put my own implication on it, which means if we are talking just force overtime, like who do I trust to make sure a point gets on the board? It's Jeff Teeter, Lyle Thompson. And I guess you could add Josh Byrne or Dane Smith in there too. But the question to me reads, who do I trust to create an opportunity that ends in us going to overtime? Regardless of who it is, right? Who do I trust to either score or make sure someone else scores? One of those 3.
I mean, I think the top 6 are very accurate. I would also just throw Tom Schreiber onto that list.
I'm sure he wasn't far behind.
Yeah.
But
I have the rest of the polls as well from these results. So what player would you consider a jack of all trades? And I think the 5 that got
I didn't see that one.
Percentage of votes are pretty good. This is in the NLLPA's social media bios too. If you want to look at it, we'll link it in the description too. So 33% of the vote, Challen Rogers. Okay. Totally agree. 15% of the vote went to Zach Currier.
We good.
15% of the vote went to the boy, Ian McKay. He's a Swiss Army knife of all trades.
We real good here.
7% went to Mike Messenger.
Okay.
And 6% went to Jake Withers.
I'm happy with that list, actually.
Totally agree with all of those.
My biggest thing is that Currier and Ian were within the top 5. And I'm cool with Challen being up there too.
Yeah. I think all 5 of those guys, NLL-wise, are exactly what a jack of all trades is described as.
When you look at all of them outside of Jake in the field game, they're also that. Not that
even when Jake was playing with the Water Dogs, he was
close.
He was really good.
Yeah, but there's definitely some pieces.
The other guys just have more sample size.
I wouldn't even say sample size. It was just more of like, if I had a choice of having him out on the field for offense or defense, I wouldn't want to. And field. Box is like, play. Just play. Whatever happens,
And
happens.
who knows? After seeing his box season last year, who knows what he'd be able to do in the field now? We just haven't seen him in the field game since 2021.
But looking at the way the field game is played, I just wouldn't want him out there. Realistically, no matter who it is, look at all the faceoff guys out there. None of them are staying. Just because of the way the field game is played, you're not staying unless you're trapped as a faceoff guy. So it's more of that mindset. Not that he can't do it, but like I just literally just wouldn't want him to.
I mean, I still wish Jake Withers was on the water, dogs.
You're fine, dude. Shut up.
Yeah,
Alex, Alec is gonna be just fine, dude.
We'll see. Trevor Baptiste kind of too small to him. Which player do you most enjoy watching?
No. Well, you're not just gonna walk past that. What do you expect? He's a rookie going against the best faceoff guy in the league.
Yeah, he's got to stand up for yourself.
That's like guarding LeBron your rookie year. You gonna get worked. It's okay. Don't be down on stat because he went up against a beast. He held his own for the first time playing TB9. You know how daunting that has to be?
We're talking NLL.
Now, imagine you about to get on a pod with Big Cat or John Boy or something. You're gonna be nervous, and you might,
damn right. But I'm still going.
Hey, you might get up there and fumble a few words. You might. Don't even give me all that.
I might get sweaty palms. I don't know if I'm gonna fumble words.
What we're not gonna do is get down at the fact that this man was out there balling and just became a victim of every of TB9, just like every other player has.
If you said
he's not on a TD level, and even TD getting worked by TB9. So what are you talking about here?
I'm saying if you gave me the choice, you're holding option A, option B. Option A is Jake Withers. Option B is Alex Stathakis. I'm going to take Jake Withers.
Okay, and let's put it like this, right? Option A is Alec and the Water Dogs current roster, or do you want TD and the Redwoods current roster? I bet
that's not what we're talking about. You're moving goalposts too much right now.
All I said was you gonna be good, so I don't want to hear it.
That's moving goalposts wildly. That's Vanderbilt moving the goalposts down Broadway in Nashville, Tennessee.
No, all I was saying was you gonna be good, and you can chill on Alec. And would you? That's all I'm saying is you would rather have Alec. And what you got?
That was not the conversation, though.
Be where we are. It Withers conversation because you want to give up Jake Withers when you want the cream and the crop. Just take the cream.
Because the cash rules everything around Jake Withers.
We ain't even got the crop over here. Okay, you got the cream and you want the crop. We even
talking about Jake Withers at the end of the day. We're not talking about TD and the Redwoods. Not everything has to be about the Redwoods.
You think Philly just supposed to deserve everything in the sun? It's other teams out here. Y'all ain't that bad.
I'm talking about a former Water Dog. Nothing has to do with the Redwoods and TD in this conversation.
I know, but all I'm saying is the rich ain't always got to get richer. Be happy
this is
with
why people stop listening, because we call them these tangents.
Be thankful.
Which player do you most enjoy watching when you're not playing?
I saw this one.
20% Jeff Teat, 14% Lyle Thompson, 14% Josh Byrne, 7% Tom Schreiber, 3%, I think that 3% is Hutton Jackson, Randy Stotts.
Yeah, probably.
But no, I do enjoy watching Randy Stotts play lacrosse. Who sees the game better than everyone else? 40% Jeff Teat, 13% Dane Smith, 9% Lyle Thompson, 6% Mark Matthews, and 6% Matt Vince.
Yeah, I saw the Matt Vince one. I was like, okay, but you know what? I get it because that man can literally see the whole field. It's all in front of him. And he'd probably be back there talking his head off, and that's why his defense is so good in front of him.
Who is the most intense and dedicated competitor? 8% Steve Priolo, 7% Matt Vince, 6% Billy Hostrauser, 6% Lyle Thompson, and 5% Josh Byrne.
Lyle making that list made me actually really happy. That made me really happy.
Of all active players, who is the funniest teammate you've ever had?
Oh, that's a good one.
9%, Mark Matthews. 5%, Kyle Waters from the Rochester Nighthawks. 5%, Ryan Dilks. 5%, Shane Jackson. And 3%, Ryan Hartley. Which, in that instance, those 5 guys have an open invite to come on the podcast.
Yes, they do. We got to test out the theory.
Who is the best leader in the NLL?
Ooh.
11%, Steve Priolo. 7%, Robert Hope. 7%, Chris Corbeil. 6%, Dan Coates. 5%, Matt Beers.
We've heard really good things about Priolo, honestly, from every level, not even just the NLL. So
he's one of those guys you don't even have to hear it; you just see it when they're playing.
There's no surprise behind why he has a C on his jersey on almost every team he plays on.
If you were going to build a roster from scratch, what player would you sign first?
I saw that too. This one made me kind of happy.
37% Jeff Teat. 17% with his shit-eating grin and his headshot. The boy, Christian Del Bianco.
Sign him, please. Calgary, sign him back.
I just need more of the cryptic tweets.
From me or him?
From him.
Okay.
They're so good.
Because in a minute, mine will stop being cryptic. Because he's looking more and more like he's not going to sign.
Man, you're out and about tweeting about people, the shorties that are at Wingstop. You ain't cryptic about nothing.
Hey, we made direct eye contact for 30 seconds. That is a directed tweet.
8% Josh Byrne, 7% Dane Smith, and 3% Doug Jameson.
I like the Dougie pick too there. I was like, he's slowly been cementing himself in that top echelon of goalies in the league.
Who is the hardest hitter in the league? 28%, the Cyborg, Graham Hossack. 26%, Mike Messenger. 5%, Brad Cree. 3%, Kyle Rubish. And 3%, James Barclay.
Okay, James.
What arena has the best facilities? 39%, Ball Arena, home of the Colorado Mammoth. 18%, the KeyBank Center, a.k.a. Banditland, home of the Buffalo Bandits. 9%, Rogers Arena, home to the Vancouver Warriors. 7%, the Wells Fargo Center, home to the Philadelphia Wings. And 3%, the First Ontario Center, home to the Toronto Rock. It made me happy seeing the Wings in the top 5.
I bet it did. I bet it did.
Because not only does that tell me our players are getting taken care of, that means every player coming through is also feeling comfortable in those situations. And I think if you look at, I think the biggest surprise and a positive surprise, but also shouldn't really shock you because it is also a hockey arena, is the Rogers Arena being that high up. Obviously, it's an NHL arena as well, but you look at 4 out of the 5, because is the First Ontario Center, is that where, does anybody play there? Major 4 sport-wise? I don't think the Maple Leafs play there. No, because they play at Scotiabank with the Raptors.
I can tell you in just a second.
At least 4 out of the 5 are NHL and or NBA arenas.
No, the Rock are the only present tenants. The Hamilton Bulldogs played there until 2023.
So
And the
there you
Rock are from 2021 to present.
4 out of the 5 in the top 5 are major 4-sport arenas as well, which makes a ton of sense.
Yes, that makes a million percentage points amount of sense.
This one is interesting. I don't know if you saw this one. If the league were to expand, what city would be best?
Detroit.
An overwhelming 46% Nashville, Tennessee.
I did see that rumbling around, and I was like, that kind of makes sense. I wouldn't hate that.
21% Minnesota. 16% Montreal. 9% Edmonton. And 5% Chicago.
I think Chicago would phase out. That also might just be me really wanting the Turbos to come back. But the Canadian ones make sense. Minnesota's disgusting. I hate everything about Minnesota.
Minnesota just makes a ton of sense because the Swarm used to be there.
Like, I just think about it. Yeah, I know, but like I got beef with them in terms of Michigan, Minnesota football, Packers, Vikings football, Michigan, Minnesota hockey. This the PLL keeps going back to Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I do not rock with Minnesota whatsoever. I wouldn't mind Chicago. It's a 2-hour drive for me, so it's the same distance.
As long as here's my one stipulation with Chicago: as long as Jerry Reinsdorf is not the owner.
I could get down with that. Reinsdorf is not,
because that team would be gone in 2 years.
Max.
Which NLL arena is the toughest to play in as a visiting team? Now, I believe these are all from the 2023-2024 season in terms of answers as well. 57%. The KeyBank Center, a.k.a. Banditland. 16% Ball Arena, home of the Colorado Mammoth, the Loud House. 3% the Scotiabank Saddle Dome, home to your Calgary Roughnecks.
Gang, gang.
2% the SaskTel Center, home to the Saskatchewan Rush. And 2% the First Ontario Center, home to the Toronto Rock. Very interesting. I hope they do this again next year so that we can kind of compare the polls. Yes, this is the 2023-2024 player poll. So some interesting answers there. We'll link the article in the description and kind of just see how things stack up next year at this time or whenever they do another poll. But I think without any further ado, we're going to cut it to our media day interviews with Anthony, Tony Malcom, and the captain, Blaze Riorden. So enjoy these. They're a ton of fun. I'm a huge fan of Tony Malcom. We're obviously big Blaze Riorden guys on the show. 2 great interviews. And then on next week's show, we will have Connor Sellers, Mitch Jones, and Nick Damude. And if you want to get a early listen to them, they're also on the Underground Sports Philadelphia feed right now as well. Outside of Tony Malcom, first time interview popping on this show. And then, like I said, coming this weekend, we will have more interviews that'll be coming from training camp that I'm very excited about as well. So don't go anywhere. We're kicking it to myself and Blaze Riorden and Anthony Malcom. All right, everybody, we are here at Wings Media Day and now joined by Anthony Malcom, new to the Philadelphia Wings. Welcome to Philly, man. It's, you walked in here. It's good to see you in a Wings jersey now. What's the excitement level coming to a new organization and having a bunch of your pals from Panther City and obviously Coach Koleski here as well? How much does that play into, just that comfort factor of coming to a new city?
For sure. I'm extremely excited to be here. Like you said, I think roughly 7 players from PCLC are coming over, TK included. I love TK. He's a great leader. Going to a storied franchise like Philly. I'm just really excited to get going here next week, and couldn't be more happy to be here.
When you hear your name get called, during, unfortunately, a dispersal draft for the league, but when you hear your name get called, new opportunity for you, what's that initial, excitement level of hearing it's Philadelphia?
That's a great question. I think Philly is definitely a franchise where most players in the league would like to play for. No one wanted to see that happen with a team folding in our league, but once we heard that, we were all looking towards where would be the best fit for us as players, but ultimately, we couldn't control that. Thankfully, I'm here. If I could pick any team I would want to play for, given my situation and living on the East Coast and all the players that have come here, TK included, this would be the spot. So I'm extremely excited.
You look at an organization like this, obviously last season for the Wings wasn't the ideal, outcome for them, but they still have so many blue chip players here, from Mitch Jones to Blaze Riorden, and you add the number 1 overall pick in Brennan O'Neill, and 7 of you guys coming from a playoff team a year ago in Panther City. How exciting is that, knowing that, even though the result wasn't there last year at the end of the year for this team, you're coming in with a total crop of talent that can really do some damage in this league together?
No, for sure. I think the expectations are extremely high with this group, even though last season, maybe they underachieved. I know Mitch Jones extremely well. I grew up with him on the West Coast. He's a great friend of mine. He's a great leader, great competitor. We have all those other pieces, as you mentioned, with this recent influx of players from PCLC, which are, we made it to the playoffs 2 years in a row. So we obviously have some good pieces that I think will, add extreme value to this club here in Philadelphia. And I think obviously we're going to be shooting for playoffs and ultimately a championship. And I know TK is going to be making that a point of emphasis from the moment we start training camp next weekend.
When you see TK is coming back too, what is, that initial reaction for you guys as a collective that were with PCLC and coming into a new environment where it may be, kind of a bit of a shock, where it's, who's going to, get along with who and kind of making those new relationships, but you have now your former head coach coming back to a place where he was before as well. How much does that kind of ease the nerves?
For sure. I think they do have a little bit of their work, cut out for them in terms of, having to manage that, essentially almost 2 teams coming together here, and then a few of those added, draft picks that like O'Neill and some of the others that will definitely have their place here in Philly. I think we'll have 4 weeks here to iron those things out. But I didn't even really think about that too, in terms of TK was once here and being back home here now, pretty much where he started his coaching career. I think will help. And so next weekend or when training camp starts, I think there'll be no issues whatsoever with just having us all gelling together.
You've been here as an opponent before. What the environment can be like here in Philly at the Wells Fargo Center. How nice is it going to be to have those fans, those 10,000 plus fans on your side now rooting for you rather than against you?
For sure. It's a hostile environment whenever you come here to Philly. That's what you want as a player, regardless of where you're playing, even if you're at home or on the road. So I'm excited to be able to, have that for 9 games of the season. And, something that we didn't really have a lot of down in Texas, for how much we loved it and how well we were treated. It'll be nice to come to a team that fills the barn on the regular.
And, when you come to a city like Philly and, the success of every team here over the past couple of years has been through the roof, and you guys are trying to add on to that, how much do you think that kind of, feeds into you guys wanting to even succeed that much more and be mentioned in the breaths of, the Flyers, the Sixers, the Eagles, the Phillies, the Union, and kind of have the Wings mentioned in that breath and the success kind of trickled down to you guys as well.
For sure, yeah. This is a huge sports town. Obviously, I follow all the other leagues, and just being able to feed off that energy, the energy of, like I said, the support that all the locals have for all their sports teams. And I think that first game, I want to say it's December 11th. It's a home opener. I'm excited to be able to put this jersey on in front of them.
When you have the number 1 overall pick coming into the organization and everything, and a lot of people coming in are skeptical about it because it's like, does Brennan O'Neill even have, box lacrosse background? He's dipped his toes in the water. He's gotten his feet wet a ton and has grown up watching games, grown up coming to Wings games. How excited are you to play alongside somebody of his skill, his talent, and just the type of person that he is?
For sure. No, I'm thrilled to be a part of this. A part of him dipping his feet into the box scene, and I think without question he's gonna pick it up extremely quickly and be an absolute staple in this team's offense, and be a name that people are gonna really resonate with around the league. You look at Tom Schreiber, for instance. I think a lot of people might have said the same thing about him signing with Toronto, 4, 5, 6 years ago, and he picked it up year one, and he steadily improved his game every year since, to now the point where you put him in the short list of one of the best players in the league.
You look at just the overall makeup of this team, and like you said, 7 new guys coming in from Panther City. What's kind of the message to Philly fans of what they can expect from your guys' style of play and what you guys bring to the table as you introduce yourself?
Well, TK's big on, hard work, gritty, outworking the other opponent. So that's kind of what we all had in PCLC. I don't know if we had particularly a star-studded cast, so to speak, but we outworked our opponent pretty much every night, especially when we won. And I think that's, in our league, when the parity is crazy, right? And if you get outworked on any given night, you put yourself in a position where you're going to lose the game. So I think definitely a blue-collar mindset, hardworking, a lot of two-way players like myself that can impact the game in all 3 phases. Obviously, Nicky DeMood is, in my opinion, one of the, if not the best goalies in the league. He's young. He's 25, so you can expect him to be, your starter for several years to come. Some veterans. We got Burden coming in. He's he takes face-offs. He can do it all. Philly Caputo on the right side of the floor put up 30 goals last year. We got Foley, another American. That's a great stay-at-home defenseman. Sellers the same way. So I think we're really going to help this team hopefully achieve expectations here this coming up season.
Like I said, man, it's good to see you in a Wings uniform
this
time around, and looking forward to watching you play out there on the floor all season long. And welcome to Philly, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, everybody, we're back here at Philadelphia Wings Media Day and joined by the captain, my good man, Blaze Riorden.
KB.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, too.
Congratulations on the wedding, first and foremost.
Thank you.
What's the excitement coming into this season? Another year with the Wings and a lot of new faces, but obviously that goal and expectation of winning a championship still remains the same. What's the excitement level going into this year?
Yeah, excitement level's at an all-time high. Obviously, with our draft picks, the expansion draft, a lot goes into it. But for me personally, I think this is, a pretty important year in my career. And for the Philadelphia Wings organization, I feel like the past 5 years we've had stuff to build on, but the winning aspect is really what this is all about, and that's the biggest step that we have to take as a group. And it's kind of now or never in the sense of there's only so many years that you could take to build, and now it's time to put that on paper and take care of it 60 minutes at a time as a team.
New head coach in the fold, but obviously Rubes has been here the duration you've been here as well. What's the conversations there with Rubes as he gets set for his first year as a head coach, and what's your excitement level of playing for him and that new voice there?
Yeah, I think Coach Rubel, along with Coach TK and Coach McCready's, we're TK's coming back, Coach McCready's is new, but just kind of a fresh outlook. And the thing that I've always noticed about Coach Rubel is that actions speak louder than words with him. He's always in the gym at 8 a.m. He's the first guy out to practice, and you kind of notice that stuff. And I think his standard of the way things need to be done are very high, and he's going to hold guys accountable. Obviously there's a lot of responsibility as a head coach, but there's really no one in this league that understands what this organization represents and what we need to do to achieve our goals than Coach Rubel. So super excited to follow his lead. Excited to see what he brings, for what we're expecting to be a really tough training camp, and hopefully the results follow after that.
You've played with and against Brennan O'Neill at a couple different levels, and just knowing what he brings to the table, and obviously a lot of it comes from the field game, but seeing just the pure talent that he is, and knowing that he's coming into this organization now that is littered with blue chip guys, yourself, Mitch Jones, Joe Resiteritz, Holden Catoni, and the list goes on, and you add somebody like Brennan O'Neill to that mix. What does that do for this organization?
Yeah, for me personally, getting to play on the same side as him as a lefty, kind of brings me back to my early days with the Wings when I got the opportunity to play with Matt Rambo. He was newer to the game. I didn't have nearly as much knowledge or experience as I do now, but, I find myself working well with guys that like to have the ball in their stick, that are threats on their own, and then, you add a little bit of that crash and bang that I bring, and hopefully we can have the same success that we did. But, as far as Brennan, as a player and, what his career is going to represent by the time it's all said and done, from what I've got to know and playing in the same team and winning a world championship with him and also playing against him, is that, he's a pretty steady guy. Like, he doesn't get too high on the highs, lows on the lows. And, I think his biggest fault is that sometimes he's too unselfish. He cares about the team more than he cares about getting his, but, he's a generational talent. He has everything he needs to be successful in this league, and I'm excited to be there for when he needs it, and also, feed off of his young energy, and hopefully that connection, you mix that in with the pieces that we have on our offense already, and hopefully we just are able to take a big step forward.
It's rare for an organization to add 7 guys who have experience in this league all at once at different position groups as well. When you look at who's coming in here from that PCLC dispersal draft and just the talent across the board, those guys having the postseason experience that they've had over the past couple of years, how invaluable is that to this team? Obviously, knowing last year wasn't where you guys wanted to be, but you still have the talent that was here that's back. You add Brennan O'Neill, and now you add 7 guys with NLL experience.
Yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely massive. Guys that have been there and done that, but also, it follows all the way down to their coaching staff. Coach Kaluski was their head coach in Panther City, so those guys have an expectation. For me personally, Coach Kaluski was here when I first started my journey here, so I kind of know his expectations. So I feel like the learning curve is going to, be a quick one, and, hopefully those guys bring a new spark and a new energy to our team that, I think with, all the moving parts going on, I just think it's probably the smoothest group of guys that you can bring in that are going to make an impact. But the transition, between adding this many guys is going to be, pretty smooth in my eyes.
When you see, those 7 guys coming in, and then a couple weeks later, TK gets announced he's coming back. How excited were you to see him back with this team where things got started here? He was here, goes on, coaches for 3 years as a head coach, gets that experience, and now that experience is back behind the bench for you guys.
Yeah, it's huge for me personally, and I think for an organization as a whole. For me, I think as an athlete, you get caught up in the winning and losing a lot, and when it's not going your way, it's hard to find confidence. It's hard to kind of find that, not excitement, but that thing that's going to push you over the edge when it's not coming easy. And the biggest thing that Coach TK did for me early in my career is he always instilled confidence, and he always had a contagious energy around him during practice. He always had his stick. He always had running shoes on. He was running around. He was always, be on your tippy toes, be on your tippy toes. And, I think that energy is going to be huge in, compiling throughout a training camp of just getting that buzz, that excitement, that confidence going. So, come week 1 that, the past is the past and the future is what's ahead of us.
And when you bring that up, the past is the past, and kind of instilling that for the fans as well. And, we talked to Mitch earlier, and he said, last year one of the faults of the team is we didn't perform well at home. what's kind of the precedent that you guys want to set for this year, knowing that, we want to make this place absolute hell for our opponents to play in, and we want to make it an environment that we're super comfortable winning in.
Yeah, well, I think the fans take care of one half of that, as far as, being here, supporting us, being loud. I truly believe we do have some of the best fans in the league. They know what they're talking about. They love the game of lacrosse, and they love, the storied franchise of the Wings, who have been successful, in early days. But, for us personally, I think, we can't get outworked. Lacrosse is a unique game in that it's a game of momentum and anything can happen. The ball bounces funny ways, but one thing that you can control each night is kind of the effort and attitude that you put forth. And there was a couple games last year that I thought even in our home arena that we got outworked, and that's part of one of our pillars of standard this year is that we're not going to get worked out or outworked any game, but especially at home, in front of fans that are wearing our colors and are cheering us on. We need to use them as an advantage, and that starts with getting off the fast starts. Last year, I can't remember more than 2 or 3 games that we came out with a lead. We were always chasing behind. It was always an uphill battle, and that kind of takes the fans out of it a little bit, and then obviously that trickles down to us players. So coming off fast starts, starting third periods off, strong, and just getting back to taking those 1-goal games that we lost last year that we considered learning experiences, and actually learning from them and turning those into wins. And even if they're 1-goal wins, this league's hard to win in, and we'll take any win by one, and we just have to flip that script.
With all the new faces coming in, who are you most excited to kind of get to know and play alongside and have them be a part of this organization?
Yeah, I think for me personally, we talked about Brennan, but I think a guy like Phil Caputo kind of strikes me as someone that I think we're going to feed off each other's energies. We play a similar game that we're not afraid to get to the dirty areas. We like to get inside, and I think he does some things really well that I could feed off of and learn from him. And I also think as a guy that is always looking over to the right side, feeding the ball. You got someone like Joe Ressateris and Sammy Leclerc who have shown that they can be great in this league, and adding a piece like that to make their job easier, but also give me another target to look at in the inside is definitely super exciting.
Coming into another year for you, and you've been a mainstay with this organization since they've come back. What's kind of the personal expectation for you and what you want to get out of this season? Obviously, the championship at the end of the year is obviously the goal every single time, but what are some things that you have set out for you this year as a leader, as a player on this team, and kind of a face of a franchise?
Yeah, it's been a great journey. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but there's been some days and years that it can't get off my mind. I care about winning here in Philadelphia just as much as anything else in my lacrosse career right now, and I think the organization and the staff that they put forward gives us every chance to do that. But for me personally, it's just winning each day. As I get older in my career, I realize it takes more to be able to compete at this level. So for me, setting a standard for myself to be able to look in the mirror every day and know, I'm not just talking about it, but actually, putting my best foot forward for, the 24 guys on our roster. Hopefully that gives me internal confidence that I can then, bring to our team. And, I expect that, I mentioned training camp's going to be a lot more difficult this year, but I just think, with the new pieces, the new coaches, and the history of the past few years, that it's going to be super competitive every single practice. Every time we get to put this uniform on, be together, there's one intent, and that's do everything we can to win, and just holding guys to that standard while following it myself.
And I know you're one who loves to play for the fans, and no matter where you're playing, whether it's Team USA, NLL, PLL, whatever it may be. How excited are you, for that first home game, with this new look Wings team to get out there, hear the 10,000 plus fans in that Wells Fargo Center going absolutely crazy for you guys and going out and putting on a show for that first home game?
Yeah, first and foremost, they deserve that. They've been in our corner, and they deserve that. And I was actually laughing because Brennan, when I saw him, I gave him a big hug, and he was like, wow, man, this is pretty cool. Like, I was like, there's not even one fan in here. I was like, it's just the turf and the arena. He's like, yeah, I mean, it's cool. I said, yeah, no, it doesn't get much cooler than this. As far as being a professional lacrosse player and the atmosphere that you're going to play in. And, I chuckled with him and was like, you know about Philly fans, right? And he's like, yeah, they're passionate. I said, passionate in both ways, but, we're going to make sure we give them something to actually cheer about this year. And he laughed and we dapped each other up and, went to our station. So, it's all talk right now, but at the end of the day, it's about action. And, we got to take action this year.
You and I have been doing this with this team since the beginning, so
Yeah.
I'm happy to have you back for another year, man, and looking forward to, just a successful season for you, for the team, and hopefully at the end of the year we're celebrating a championship.
Yeah, I appreciate that, KB, and you'll be one of the first guys I hug. My man.
Let's go.
Appreciate it.
Shout out to the boys, Blaze Riorden and Anthony Malcom, 2 great interviews. And thank you once again to Lauren Coranda and the Philadelphia Wings organization for having us at Media Day, and looking forward to some awesome interviews from training camp this coming weekend as well. But Deej, it is Halloween as we record this.
Yes.
And we've been on a kick of building out some fictional lacrosse rosters. And I dressed the part a little bit here. D just pulling out all the stops as well. I had to throw on my Stranger Things outfit. DJ has his Mighty Morphin Power Rangers ready to go. And we are going to celebrate Halloween by building a classic type of roster. Your Halloween characters. Deej is getting into costume here. We are going to build a fictional lacrosse roster comprised of classic Halloween characters. Now, what does that mean, you're asking? That means your vintage, your OG Halloween characters. We're not talking, like Scooby-Doo and all that kind of stuff, although Scooby-Doo is goated. That doesn't fall in this category. For an example that we'll give here that they'll probably end up on our roster, talking like Dracula, Frankenstein, stuff like that, and building a classic vintage Halloween roster here for the people. But before we do, I want to talk to you guys about our awesome friends over at Buff. That's right, the official neckwear of Survivor. And they are on board with us, and they are the perfect gift this holiday season. And they have their gift route ready to go on their website. It is linked in the description so you can shop the perfect product for your favorite person in your life, for your favorite people. It is truly a one-of-a-kind gift to prepare anybody that outdoorsman in your life. The trail map is available now. As I pull it up here, the trail map, I think it's one of the cooler initiatives for a holiday like gift guide, is the Buff trail map. It allows you to kind of search through the different styles that Buff is offering, so you can embark on your gifting journey with Buff. They'll guide you along the way from the trailhead at Valley Bottom to the highest peaks and back. No matter the path you choose, we'll showcase the perfect gifts for casual explorers, the Vista seekers, or the ones that can't get enough elevation gain. We curated a trail map filled with our best-selling head and neckwear styles to make this year's holiday gifting journey as easy as it gets. From the valley to the peak with the merino, which is the 100% merino wool, to the original Buff. The colder the weather, the better, with the thermo net option. Plus, they've got the Survivor branded buffs as well. Click the link in the description. Get ready for colder months. Protect your face from the wind, the snow, the cold with Buff. Thank you to Buff for sponsoring the show. And of course, I want to talk to you guys about the PLL app. You guys already know we love the PLL app on this show. It is genuinely the best sports league app on the market. It's gamified. There's every single up to the second and minute article that you could want from the league during the season, press conferences, one-of-a-kind videos, and like I said, it's gamified. There's trivia. There's things to do every single day in the PLL app. There's a new survey out as we record this right now. You fill it out, you get entered not only to win a potential Philadelphia Water Dogs helmet that they're giving away, but also you get 1,000 XP on your account, which is beautiful. And that XP, it adds up, it levels you up, and you get awesome discounts in the PLL shop. You get awesome additives to your account that allow you to do things during the season. Download the PLL app, and when you go to the redeem code section, use code OTBPOD. That's code OTBPOD for 500 XP on your account. Once again, that's code OTBPOD for 500 XP on your account. The Red Ranger has joined us.
That's Halloween, big dog.
I'm glad we both got in the holiday spirit here.
Oh, I couldn't let you do it alone.
If you're not watching on YouTube, I am dressed like Hopper from Stranger Things, along with my no longer in existence PLL team hat that matches perfectly. And Deej is the Red Ranger. This thumbnail is going to be absurd.
Isn't it? People are going to be like, what is going on?
So we are building our fictional lacrosse roster, a new installment, Halloween edition. I'm very excited for this one because there are plenty of Halloween spooky entities that we can add to this list, Deej. If you're new to the show, we build it out with a traditional PLL roster along with the reserve roster and coaching staff and refs. So, Deej, when it comes to vintage Halloween, where should we start with this roster?
Oh, you know who I'm starting with. My favorite Halloween character of all Halloween characters, Michael Myers.
Where are we putting Michael Myers? Is he an attackman? Because he's attacking everybody.
I don't know if... Yeah. I think he's got to be an attackman, actually.
I think we got to put the traditional ghost, just a ghost. You know, it's a classic Halloween entity. We got to put a ghost in the midfield. Shifty, moves around, dodging everywhere, can come out of the box.
Here.
So we'll put the classic ghost in the midfield. I'm torn where to put Dracula.
LSM.
I was thinking that or defense.
Him and the Reaper. Good old Grim Reaper.
At the LSM spot.
That's a nasty 1-2 punch of length. But also just like, we coming to get you.
Yeah.
Escape.
Can
we put Art the Clown on defense?
Who is it?
Art the Clown.
Art the Clown. Where are we going to put the jack-o'-lantern? Is the jack-o'-lantern the head coach? It is the face of Halloween.
I like
literally and figuratively.
I like that. And honestly, like, could you imagine like the body of Andy Towers, the jack-o'-lantern?
I also think attack-wise, we need to have the Headless Horseman.
Okay.
He's just running rampant all over defenses. I think we could put a witch in the midfield.
Yes.
Around on that broom.
Are we adding Dementors to the scary?
I think that's too specific.
Okay, fair.
Because we could do a whole Harry Potter roster.
Hey,
which I know you're game for.
I'm definitely game for that. Spooky season.
Does Scream drop in on the defense?
Or do we put him in the midfield?
That's where I was torn.
Because I think he could be a nice two-way guy.
Okay.
Like, I feel like he could defend things, but also be an attacking force.
I feel like Chucky is a short stick teammate. Emphasis on short.
Right. Real short. Hey, I really do wish this like had like a
flap
or something, bro. This is so weird. But yeah, I like in the midfield a lot. D mid, I think is what you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Where's Freddy Krueger going?
I
feel like he could also be a short stick. Or because he got them claws, he could be at the stripe.
That's what I was kind of thinking. But is there somebody else that could play well at the stripe?
Or is he defensive because he's always going in your nightmares?
We got Art the Clown on D. Is anybody else back there at the moment?
Nope. We also got to have
we can
Frankenstein's monster somewhere too.
Yeah. I was thinking about Frankenstein a little bit. Do we put him at D mid for the same reason we put other people at D mid?
Frankenstein's monster.
For the lack of brains.
He's there. Because we still have Freddy and Jason. Pennywise.
Pennywise got to be a midi.
Okay.
He seems versatile to me.
Let's see. What are we? Yeah, we got Jigsaw.
Yeah. Do we put Jigsaw at attack? You want to play a game?
Do you want to play a game? I like that.
Now I see why people be needing help putting stuff on.
I love how I'm looking right at this thing and I can't think of its name.
What does it look like?
It's the dude who's like on the like hand truck almost, and he's like wrapped up, and he's got the mask on.
Oh, that's my hair. Oh man,
he's alive.
Barely.
Why can I not think of what the hell this thing's name is? He's like the dude that Hannibal Lecter.
Oh. Ooh. Hannibal Lecter is a good one.
He's an option. We got to find a place for a werewolf. That's
werewolf mid for sure. Or well, do we want to put him at attack? Because sometimes you need that attackman to just hit that.
So is he going to be the reserve attackman? because we got Michael Myers, the Headless Horseman, and Jigsaw at attack.
I'm just trying to think, like, do we want him there or do we want him in midfield?
Actually, Jigsaw, let's put the werewolf at attack. Jigsaw should be the rules official.
Yes.
Because he wants to play a game.
Yes.
So we have Hannibal Lecter. We have a zombie. Is like a traditional character. Freddy and Jason. Beetlejuice. I think we can pull from the Addams Family if we wanted to.
Where do we want to put Freddy and Jason? And do we want them together or separate?
It's a good call.
Because I think that can really help us put some of these other ones together.
So we have two. So without reserve roster spots, we have one more midfield spot, 2 defensemen, 1 short stick is a reserve. Or we dressing 3 short sticks?
I think we have been dressing.
Yeah. So we have 1 midfield, 2 defense, face off, and both goalies, and then a coaching staff and refs to fill out.
Who else is out there? Who else is out there? Hannibal Lecter. Where do we want to put Hannibal Lecter?
See, well, I was to say he's your goalie because he's just standing there. But then I was like, he can't really move.
Maybe Jason, because he's got the old school goalie mask on. We put him in net.
I like that.
And he's moving.
I do like that. So should our last short stick be a zombie for all the reasons we've listed previously?
I like that. Do we want to put Candyman on D?
Candyman, there's the traditional wise, there's a mummy, the devil, a black cat.
Him and Leatherface? Or him and Jeepers Creepers? I just know Candyman has the swarm of bees.
So would he be a solid backup goalie? Because then he has like a fortress around him.
That could help, but he does have a hook for a hand as well.
Yeah, but then he summons the bees and he's in like an orb.
That's fine with me.
I mean, I feel like a black cat is kind of nimble. We could put a black cat on the midfield.
I'm a big Black Cat stan.
Now we need 2 defensemen, a reserve attack.
Norman Bates on the reserve attack. That man a psycho hunter.
I mean, we could put a mummy on defense, wrap him up.
That is the corniest thing you said.
Hey, I ain't mad about it though.
I'm trying to think.
I mean, we got like a skeleton too, from a traditional standpoint.
That sack of bones gonna fall apart. What is that gonna do for us?
It's an extra stick.
I don't think that's how that works, actually. We need to find somebody to beat the face-off straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder to think about for this one. What is Wednesday known for? I feel like I should know.
The Addams Family.
Well, yeah, from the Addams Family.
Sorry, something played through your microphone. It blew my ear sockets out.
Yeah, I was just asking what she is known for.
Just being a bad bitch, standing 10 toes down on business. She's just like the typical goth.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
She could be on the coaching staff.
Okay.
Oh, you know who would be funny at the face-off? Thing from the Addams Family, just the hand.
Oh, yes.
You just see a hand walking up to the stripe.
That's literally perfect. That is literally perfect. Literally just a hand. That's all that needs to be there.
Oh, that's funny.
Clamp and go, big dog. So what do we have left to get?
One more on defense. A reserve short stick.
Did we put Freddie on D?
Oh yeah. Is he FREDDY or IE?
Why?
All right, so that's that, and then we need one more reserve short stick or LSM. However we want to build that, and then one more coach, and then 2 referees.
Do we want to put Annabelle at short stick?
Oh, I like that.
Wait, she kind of just chase you down and just be popping
Yeah.
up. Like, oh, you thought you got away? Psych. I'm right here.
I think
somewhere.
Beetlejuice would be funny on the refs.
Okay.
Because you say his name 3 times, you getting thrown out.
And the way players be talking. Matt,
Yeah.
Maddie, Palem, bro. They be gone. They be gone.
the
what else we got here? Is Slenderman going on the coaching staff or the referee staff?
let's make him the other ref.
Okay.
And then let's put a skeleton on the coaching staff.
Yeah. That's safe.
Bang. So there it is. That's the Halloween fictional lacrosse roster. The attack is Michael Myers, the Headless Horseman, the Werewolf. Norman Bates is the reserve attackman. Your midfield is a classic Ghost, a classic Witch, Scream, Pennywise, and a classic Black Cat. The defense, Art the Clown, a Mummy from a classic standpoint, and then Freddy Krueger. Your LSMs, Dracula / Vampire, and then the Grim Reaper. Short stick D midi unit is Chucky, Frankenstein's monster, and a zombie, and Annabelle is our reserve. Our face-off athlete is Thing from the Addams Family. Your goalies, Jason Voorhees and Candyman. Your coaching staff, Jack-o'-lantern, Wednesday Addams, and a skeleton. And then your refs, Beetlejuice, Slenderman, and then Jigsaw is your rules official. That's a nasty little team there.
You know, we only put together the best of the best. That one was significantly faster than the rest of them.
That's a squad.
But that is a squad.
Leave a voicemail with who you would put on the Halloween fictional lacrosse roster, who we forgot. Leave a comment in the YouTube comment section. But yeah, not a whole lot going on in the lacrosse world right now. So that's all we got for you guys on this episode. Big thank you to Blaze, Anthony Malcom, and the Philadelphia Wings once again for having us out at Media Day and sitting down with us for some interviews. Be sure to follow us on the socials at OTB LaxPod across the board. Follow Deej at SCS_NextGreat. Follow Chase at the PLL Pipeline. Follow Hoots at Hoot Sports Media. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Welcome back to the fold, Harrison. A blast from the past. Subscribe to the pod, Apple, Spotify. Leave a 5-star review. It goes a long way for helping the show continue to grow. Helps more people find OTB and our entire catalog of podcasts at Underground Sports Philadelphia. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Leave a like on the video, drop a comment in the comment section, ring the bell icon so you know when new videos, live streams, clips, and shorts go live. DJ, I also got a nice little discount code for my birthday from the PLL in the app.
Ooh.
Buy another box.
I mean, just let me know.
Might have to
cash
in.
Had some good luck. So
might have to do it again. Might have to run it back turbo. So yeah, we might have another box opening soon. But yeah, subscribe to the pod. Check out Shootout For Soldiers website or Wall Ball for Warfighters website. Register for Wall Ball for Warfighters. Getting going November 1st, all through the month of November. It's going to be an awesome, awesome event throughout the country. So check that out. Link is in the description to register. And this has been episode number 347 of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, a spooky season edition, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Deej, Blaze, and Tony Malcom, KB, we'll catch you guys next week when we start getting ready. It's NLL preseason breakdown season.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see you from Wings Training Camp this weekend as well. But until then, we're getting the heck up out of here. Peace.
Peace.